So welcome everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Bud James. I'll be leading the service tonight. We also have some wonderful people who will be participating and a very special guest speaker who I'll be introducing here in just a moment. So here's our agenda this evening. As you can see, we're going to have in just a moment some input from some of our clergy and an opportunity for you to actually ask some questions of our keynote speaker, the soon-to-be Reverend Lisamarie Boncek. We've got a wonderful opportunity to hear from you as well during our experiential section. So our seasonal observations this month, July, obviously, interestingly enough, there's a lot more going on than we might realize. On the 4th, as you all know, we did have the secular holiday of July the 4th, American Independence Day. On the 6th, we had Tisha B'Av, which is the 9th day of the month of Av, and it's the saddest day on the Jewish calendar on which Jews typically fast, deprive themselves, and pray. It's the culmination of the 3 weeks, which is a period of time during which they mark the destruction of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. Not once, but twice was it destroyed. And the first temple was burned by the Babylonians in 423 BCE. And the second temple fell to the Romans in 70 CE. The Jews also reflect on at least 3 other tragedies that happened on the 9th of Av. So it's a big day for them. From the 7th through the 12th is Eid al-Adha and the Hajj. So according to the Quran and the Old Testament and the Bible, just as Ibrahim, as he's called in Persian, was about to sacrifice his son, Ismail, God replaced him with a lamb, which was sacrificed instead. Eid al-Adha means the festival of sacrifice, and it coincides with the Hajj, which is the name for the annual pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia, which is considered the holiest city for Muslims. Hajj is a mandatory religious duty for Muslims that has to be carried out at least once in their lifetime by all adult Muslims who are physically and financially capable of undertaking the journey. And they also have to be able to still continue to support their family during their absence from home. On the 10th, we celebrated the martyrdom of the Bab. This is the day of the execution of the co-founder of the Baha'i faith. There's an interesting miracle story here in that there were allegedly 750 soldiers with rifles who lined up in 3 ranks to execute the Bab and a close follower. And after the smoke cleared, the follower was smiling and the Bab was nowhere to be seen. So it seems he was found back in his cell and he was giving dictation to a secretary that he hadn't finished. And then once he was done, then they went back and had the second execution, and that was successful. So it is an interesting story. On the 13th is Al-Asa Puja, also known as Dhamma Day. It's one of Theravada Buddhism's most important festivals, celebrating, as it does, Buddha's first sermon, the sermon in the deer park at Sarna. And this is where he set out to his 5 former associates, the doctrine that had come to him following his enlightenment. It's really a pivotal sermon, and it really kind of set into motion the entire path of Buddhism. And it's encapsulated in the 4 Noble Truths, which is the suffering, and the suffering is caused by craving, and that there's a state of nirvana that's beyond suffering and craving. And finally, the way to nirvana is the Eightfold Path. And all the schools and traditions of Buddhism revolve around this central doctrine of the 4 Noble Truths. On the 23rd, which is in a couple of days, we'll be celebrating the birthday of Haile Selassie. This is a holiday in Rastafarianism that celebrates the Emperor Haile Selassie, an individual believed to be, by the Rastafarians, the incarnation of God. And here's another very interesting story, if you're interested in looking this up. Haile Selassie did not appoint himself in that role with the Rastafarians. The Rastafarians saw him leading this particular lifestyle, which looked to them very much in accordance with their principles, and they appointed him as one of their leaders. On the 24th, the Mormons will be celebrating Pioneer Day, which is actually a Utah state holiday that celebrates when the Mormons actually came into the Great Salt Lake area and established the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So lots of interesting holidays this month. Kathleen put something into chat here that is an interesting observation. Guru Purnima was on July 17th, when we honor all the gurus and the guru inside of us. Thank you for adding that. I'll make sure I add it to next year's calendar. In just a moment, I'd like to invite Reverend Catherine Congdon to come to the forefront and read us our invocation. Reverend Catherine.
Thank you, Reverend Bud. So our invocation. New Light Temple was founded by Rabbi Joseph Gelberman as a haven where people of all beliefs and backgrounds could joyously come together to share their bountiful and varied gifts of spirit. NLT is the ordaining body for All Faiths Seminary International. Our purpose is to provide a sacred space for people of all faiths and ages to celebrate diverse religious and spiritual traditions. We gather for connection, inspiration, solace, and healing while fostering understanding, peace, love, and unity. In the words of Gandhi, I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from the highest source. I salute this source in you. Let us work together for unity and peace. And in the words of Rabbi Gelberman, never instead of, always in addition to. And back to you, Bud.
Thank you, Reverend Catherine. That was lovely. I appreciate that. I'm pleased to present our keynote speaker for tonight, Lisamarie Boncek. Lisamarie is an international spiritual and motivational speaker, near-death experiencer, energy healer, medical intuitive, Ayurveda specialist, meditation teacher, Ayurvedic postpartum doula, certified yoga instructor, opera singer. She actually studied with Maestro Pasquale Papano, and a notary public with the state of Connecticut. She is graduating from All Faiths Seminary International next month as an interfaith minister after an intensive year of study on the A Course in Miracles track. And Lisamarie has kindly agreed to offer a brief question and answer period after her talk. So please note any questions that may arise and hold them until then. Reverend Lisamarie.
Hello, brothers and sisters. It's great to be here this evening. I want to thank All Faiths Seminary for allowing me to do this short talk tonight. I wanted to get on last month. I think it was last month, gratitude.
It was 2 months
or
ago.
Freedom. I think it was freedom. And I couldn't get on. And then they said the next one was service. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then this light bulb went off in my head because the divine always talks to me. And they said, your near-death experience was all about service. I was like, oh, this is a great story. I'm going to tell them about my near-death experiences because I was shown my future in this lifetime, what I was going to be doing. So I'm so happy to be with all of you like-minded people and feeling that high vibration. We're all together. It's great. So my whole life, I want to thank the people, my friends and family that my whole life have told me that I do too much for people. You do too much for people. You do too much for people. So now I'm getting a license to help people. And I'm just going to go around with my collar. I think I'm just going to wear it everywhere I go, just to show that I'm in service to humankind and service for God. This is my greatest passion. I've got lots of achievements and talents in my life, but this is my greatest achievement, is becoming an ordained minister with All Faiths Seminary. I mean, I chose All Faiths because it's interfaith, and I didn't want to leave anybody out. I wanted to marry anybody of any culture and same-sex marriage or whatever. I just wanted that freedom and that liberty to help, to not turn anybody down. So I'm going to tell you I'm going to condense the near-death experience story because it's pretty long. So I'm going to condense it. So I had Lyme disease years ago. I was very sick, and within a year I was disabled. And I was coming from having optimal health before that, very optimal health. So it was a tragedy in my life. So for many years, nobody knew until now when I went public with this story, because I wanted to help others and give them hope. People that have lost their children, have lost their husband and wives, and just tragic stories. So I was very sick with Lyme disease, and my prayer to God was, please help me get well so that I could go back to helping people. I've always been in the business of spiritual type of work, so I wanted to continue that. And it took me a good 4 years to come to a point of acceptance of this new life I was living. So fast forward to the NDEs. I had 2 NDEs 2 nights in a row. And it all started in this chair I'm sitting in right now. And I just kept hearing this whooshing sound in my body, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And I'm thinking, do I have a blood pressure problem? Like, what's going on here? So this was going on all night, and I went in my bed, and I think it started around 10 o'clock. I was feeling lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, like a feather, until suddenly, poof, I was out of my body. Jesus came rushing to me and kind of went like this, like, it's not your time. We got to stop this. This was like the motion. So his energy was there in front of me. And there was somebody, a male energy to my left, coming through, because at that point, I was in and out of my body. So he was coming through my body. And that divine being was about 12 to 15 feet tall, with wings that were that filled up about 3/4 of the room. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, Jesus is healing me. I can't believe this is happening. So Jesus was whipping up this energy that's very hard for me to describe with my limited mind in my body, because it's such a divine energy and a heightened vibration that's hard for me to describe. So he was whipping up an energy in a circular motion in my core of my body. This was going on for hours. As he was doing that, I heard there were many things going on at the same time, about 20 different things. I was getting downloads. He was talking to me, showing me my future. I was speaking in another language, a heavenly language. I can't tell you what that was. I was seeing visions. I was seeing a recording of myself, not a life review of what had already happened, but my future. So I'm watching myself. And as soon as I left my body, I turned into love, the greatest love you can ever imagine. It's hard to describe. I describe it as meeting your twin soul and being on cloud nine, beaming with happiness and euphoric bliss, time multiplying that by 50,000, if you could ever imagine that kind of love. So also I experienced a very, very intense peace, the greatest peace they can ever imagine. Also, a euphoric happiness, bliss consciousness, I call it. So as I was watching my future, I was doing speaking engagements that I wasn't doing at the time. And they were spiritual speaking engagements, motivational speaking. And the speaking engagements had a theme, and the theme was hope. And as I was watching myself, I remember thinking, the first thing I thought was, oh, I'm going to be a size 5 again. That was the first thing. But then I noticed that there were a lot of words that were very intelligent words that I hadn't even learned yet. I probably am learn them at All Faiths Seminary. So it was very interesting to watch myself like that from a different view, from a view like that. So the other thing I noticed, and I think I can say this here, that I had a few off-colored words, which wasn't who I was at the time back then. So I just kind of went like this to Jesus, like, what's up with that? That's not me. And he said to me, you have to know that back then, for 25 years, I've been meditating for over 30 years now. And back then I experienced near enlightenment. So I thought, and Jesus knew my thoughts. He knew every thought. He knew everything about me, my future, anything you can imagine. So I said to him, what's up with that? And he said, you're too pure. And he knew I was thinking that, aren't we supposed to be, I thought we were supposed to be Christ-like, and, and he said, you need to be able to relate to the people on earth. You came here. So it was my choice before I got here. You came here to experience compassion. And without the suffering that I went through, I wouldn't be at the level of compassion I am now. I was just so healthy, and I couldn't understand why people were doing the things they were doing. And, so when I look at my life now and what I'm doing now, and how many people come to me with deep issues and deep depression, and I can relate to that now, everything that they're going through. And had I not gone through that suffering, I wouldn't be able to help them as much and understand what they're going through, to be able to give them hope and service. So the other thing was God himself. We have a creator, source that I experienced during my NDEs. And he made it clear to me that everything was not in my time, but his time, because I'm always in a rush. I want everything yesterday. And so we agreed that he wouldn't let me know too much information about people too much ahead of time. I don't want to know anything 6 months or a year ahead of time, just so that it's not on my mind. So anyway, while this healing was going on, which went on for hours, this glorious chorus of angels, I would say, were saying, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. They would not stop saying that. And it was so beautiful the way they were in sync and harmony. And it was just glorious. And I remember thinking, because, you're in your same mind without, you're void of all negative emotions. So I was my best self in that bliss consciousness, in that great peace, in that love of God. I was in it. I was it. So I remember thinking, when are they going to stop saying that? They just they're on and on. So I was downloaded many messages for friends of mine, a couple that are disabled. I had messages for them. I was shown why, certain friends had to stay in my life that were difficult. And I was shown why I had to be in their life. And that some of them were needed to grow spiritually, or one of my friends doesn't have any siblings and no parents left, and he's kind of an orphan, and that I could take breaks from these people, but I couldn't get rid of them. There was a greater purpose underlying it all. So I had this where I was on near death and dying, and Jesus, and the same thing with Jesus coming through 2 nights in a row. And I didn't get any medical treatment after that. I don't want to get into the whole medical thing because it takes away from the talk here. So I didn't get any medical treatment after that because of what Jesus told me, that I was going to be well. And he told me my hair was going to grow back, and all these little details and personal details about my journey. So after those events, for 14 days after, I kept seeing these video clips of myself doing those speaking engagements. And it didn't matter what I was doing, what I was concentrating on. I couldn't stop these video clips for 14 days. So 3 weeks after this happened to me, I was going to help a friend who's a medium. She was doing a gallery reading, and she's disabled, and I was going to help her, and she had to cancel last minute. And now I had gotten tickets for 2 of my friends to go. So I had to go. So the place said to me, listen, they got this other girl, and she's great. And I said, okay, well, I have to go anyway because I got my friend's tickets. So as I'm driving there, it's about 40 minutes from me, I'm getting these downloads because I'm still really not totally back in my body yet. I'm still one with everything around me. The grass, the animals, they're all following me because I'm in this enlightened state. I'm still in that intense bliss consciousness every day. This went on for a while. And I remember stopping at a friend's house, and he said to me, oh, how did you know I was home? I said, well, I saw a vision of you washing your car in your driveway, so I figured I'd stop by. I loved it. I thought it was great. So I'm driving to this event, and I'm getting these downloads again, and they're telling me, my wonderful friends on the other side, they're saying, this is for you. It was all changed. This is not by accident that the other one was sick, and they had this new person that took her place. And you're going to get information that we want you to have about your near-death experiences. And, she's going to wait to the end. And they told me everything that was going to happen. So I got there, I told my friends about it, and I was sitting there, and it happened exactly like that. And the girl came up to me at the end, and I was very matter of fact because I know what happened. And she said to me, Jesus is here to talk to you. And I was like, yep, I knew this was going to happen. And she said, Jesus said he healed you. You were very sick and you were dying. And I said, yeah, he healed me. Yep. And she said to me, if you think back to what I said about 5 or 10 minutes ago, she said, and Archangel Michael is here to talk to you. She said, he didn't really mean to freak you out. He was just assisting in the healing with Jesus. I said, oh, no. I said, it all makes sense now. I felt the male energy. He was 12 to 15 feet tall, and the wings. I was one that never believed with angels and wings. And, I got it was just great. And she said, she's looking at me because I look very healthy. And she says, you don't look sick. I said, well, I was dying. So, and she gave me some information about the other angels that were in the room, and that I sensed Mother Mary in the room, and there were some other angels behind me. And when I was still in my body, they were touching my hand. Over here is a very sensitive area right here. And this is not the first time. I mean, I've been touched by spirits most of my life. So, a lot of people, when they have near-death experiences, it's a big shock. It just wasn't a shock to me. I'd already believed in the afterlife. I had already done some channeling with spirit. I mean, that's just my life. And I already believed, and I had a great faith. And Jesus said to me, the medium said, Jesus said he healed you because of your faith. I just thought that was great. And that was true. So, I mean, that's the story compacted. There's a lot of details that it would just be too long. So if anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Yeah, please come off of mute and ask whatever questions you might have. I do have a question for you, Lisamarie.
Go
Are you going
ahead.
to write a book?
I am. The last few years have been, Spirit has been telling me we need you to get certain credentials. And one of them is writing a book. And I'm not a writer. So I said to them, I'm not a writer. They said, we're going to help you, of course. And the right people will. I was doing another speaking engagement recently, and somebody was on the call, and I was telling them this story, and somebody was on the call and said, I'm going to help you do your book free of charge.
Wow.
And I said, this is the way the divine works. It just happens on God's timing.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous.
And, so there'll be at least one, and I'm starting to work on that. And I'm going to have a podcast. My podcast is Revelations from Heaven, because now I've became an NDE, a near-death experience researcher. I just love it so much.
That's it. It's an incredible study. I spent a number of years looking into that whole space, and quite an amazing amount of information there. Absolutely. No question.
Yeah. Some people have really gone into the deep realms of heaven, and there's a lot of, they're all my friends now. A year and a half ago, I asked God, please send me more like-minded people. And because there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. I know I'm meant to help people, but there has got to be a balance. So about 6 months later, all the near-death experience people, on the Facebook groups, now I'm friends with them, and all the reverends, and it's just been, I'm just so excited about this journey. Fabulous. So excited about it.
And Reverend AJ, you've got your hand up. Would you like to come off mute? And
yes, I just wanted to ask, because you kept saying those initials and I don't know what they mean. NDE.
It's called near-death experience. NDE is near-death experiences.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll ask you a question. How do you see where your lecturing and speaking is going to go? Is it going to be social media based, or are you going to be traveling?
I've been doing both. It's both. During COVID, it slowed down a little bit. So a lot of it's on Zoom and, YouTube and all that. I've got a lot of podcasts out there, so yeah, it's both.
It sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah. So you have a more detailed description on YouTube that you've already put out?
Yeah, I do.
Huh. Okay, we can check it
You
out.
can just Google my name.
How many years ago I'm not sure if you said, but how long ago was that? You look great, you know, you were
It
saying
was,
here.
thank you. Yeah, it was about 6 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 6 years ago.
Mm.
And all the things that Jesus showed me and God showed me in my future, at least half of that has already happened. And when it happens, it's you have this, you know, this awe moment, AWE. You're just in awe, like, oh my God, I can't believe this. You know, it's all happening just as he showed me.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
It must be very humbling too.
Yeah, I had a friend who had
Yeah.
Lyme disease before they knew it was Lyme disease. And he ended up totally freezing up. I mean, his body was just, was this a situation you found yourself in as well?
Freezing up, like,
Meaning he couldn't
I
move.
mean, I just felt like I was dying all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
that infection, I mean, and it happened so fast. And it went into my joints so fast.
Right,
I
yeah.
just remember the worst pain from head to toe. I was in pain. I mean, in joints that I didn't even know I had. I couldn't even put my hand on the steering wheel to drive. I couldn't be in the light. I couldn't be in the sun. I mean, it was very bad. It was very bad.
Yeah. Okay, I can understand that.
Yeah. And most people, you know, don't get cured of it. They have it for life. I was very fortunate.
Yeah, particularly those who did not know they had Lyme disease because there was no treatment in those early days.
Mm.
And it was very, very painful.
Very painful. And the fatigue, I was trying to weigh what was worse, the pain or the fatigue. And I decided that the fatigue was worse. If anybody knows that type of fatigue, I mean, it is just, it's relentless. It's so uncomfortable. And you can't even, I mean, I couldn't even walk down my hallway. I mean, had to be carried to the bathtub I mean, it was just really bad. And for a long time, there's a lot of suffering involved with that. So I am very grateful to God that showed me my future. And I could actually feel, as I was watching myself in these speaking engagements, I could physically feel the physical energy I had in my body for my future. And the energy was actually more than before I got sick. It was very cool experience. It's just that now I think about heaven all the time. It's
Well,
very
you're
hard
quite
to
an
have that
inspiration.
experience and not think about
Yeah.
leaving this world, because that was the best experience of my life. And there's a great reward at the end of all this this madness. I can tell you that there's a great reward. It's wonderful.
Lisamarie,
Yeah.
I loved hearing your near-death experience. And, you know,
Thank you.
as I was listening to it, I so oftentimes hear when somebody's relating their near-death experience, stop. You know, it always makes me think of Diana Ross in the Scream. Stop in the name of love.
Name of love.
It's not your time to come yet. You know, it's not your time to leave the earth plane. And, you know, I just want to relate a short story. I have myself not had a near-death experience, but I honest to goodness think that my mother did, you know. And so the situation of my dad died in 87, in the spring of 87. And 3 months later, my mother had major pancreatic cancer surgery. Usually pancreatic cancer unto itself is usually a very quick death sentence. However, and my mother, after having the surgery, she was depressed. She was talking about her and where she was going to be buried, and a lot of other stuff that was coming up. And I really thought that she was soon to leave. Then all of a sudden, about 6 months after the surgery, in late '87, she claims to have had, and claims, I believe her, she had a dream. And in that dream, my father came to her and said, "Not your time to come yet." This lady did a turnabout face, and she stayed with us. She survived my father by 20 years and 3 days.
Wow.
She died in spring of 2007. And all of a sudden, it was just that she was depressed. She was melting away. And it was like, no, he says, I can't come yet. It's not my time to come yet.
Yeah, she had a visitation. That's called a visitation from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are real.
Oh, absolutely.
I've had those. They're very real. And it's something you can never forget. Like, I'm sure she talked about it lots of times because it's still so sharp in your mind when you have a visitation dream like that.
So oftentimes the message is, no, can't come yet, right? Your work here is not finished.
Right. And I've heard from other NDEers that, we make a contract before we even get here about who our parents are going to be and that kind of thing. I mean, I know Jesus said to me, you came here to learn compassion. So that means I made a choice, right? So, but many NDEers will tell you that even the NDE was predestined, like before you were born, before we got here. Because there are no accidents. Because when I had my experiences, I knew I had all the knowledge right there in front of me. There were no secrets anymore. I knew what Jesus and God were telling me were the truth. That's why, I said to my doctor, I'm not going in the hospital. Jesus told me I'm going to be fine. But the knowledge is there, and there's no secret. So there's just so much knowledge, and you know that everything is happening for a reason. It doesn't matter how bad it looks. It doesn't matter. There's a reason. There's ancestors, karmic stuff for ancestors, our ancestors. It's so deep, and I really feel like I only got a glimpse of what's there. So there's just so much vast knowledge and information, and they know what they're doing. That's what I got from it. They really know what they're doing. There's no mistakes. I feel like part of that reason for the NDEs was to see and feel how much energy I was going to have, because I'd been sick for many years. I mean, this wasn't a short thing. This was many years of suffering.
With the Lyme disease?
Yeah, and complications from Lyme. I couldn't keep my cortisol up. That's what almost killed me.
Wow.
So it was doing a number on my adrenal glands.
Okay.
Now I know how to help other people with that. So
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
And Dr. Einstein did say, God does not play dice with the universe.
No.
So there are no
Not at all.
accidents.
No, they're very smart over there.
I always
And
call it
they have
coincidence.
mental clarity that we don't have. When I didn't
no.
tell you this part, when I was going back into my body, it was very uncomfortable. If you guys know, because a lot of you are older, that show, I Dream of Jeannie. Remember that show?
I
And
do.
she went into that skinny necked bottle. That is how it was. That's how it felt for me. Now here you are, expanded consciousness, right? You're huge. you're free. I felt free. I was released from that body, just released from, we are on a timeline here. We have circadian rhythms. Our bodies are functioning, and we have to take care of our bodies. We have to sleep, and we have to eat, and we have to do all these things to function if you want to have good health. So that's all released from you. I was in the now. There is no time. You're just in the now with no worries, nothing to think about. So I was going into that what felt like that genie bottle. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so limited and constricted. And I remember thinking after all that, oh my gosh. And then I went into the body is like a heavy thing. It's heavy. So there went the light as a feather feeling into this heavy, right, Bud? The heavy, dense body that is with the limited mind and limited consciousness. It was so limited.
Yeah.
So that's like a huge, huge, I am not a body. And I just found out.
And yes, and that's why I have that on the bottom of my email. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, because that's what it is. That's what it is. So I have a different outlook on life than most people. I look at a much bigger picture, and I'm challenged. I think a healer's path is never easy. I think we all know that. There's certain things that you need to learn to help others, and that's that. So it's been an interesting journey, my journey to the light.
Lisamarie, I have a comment and a question. One, I love your lightheartedness, and through the lightheartedness, I see your health. I see your open heart. I see your faith, and I think that is it's really brilliant to see that and to feel it. That's just an observation. And we've had conversations, in the past year. So we've talked about a lot of things, but I never really heard too much from you because we're on Zoom all the time in the classes. So I'm noticing that more now. The other thing I just wanted to ask you was, now you said that this near-death experience went on for 14 days. Did you say that?
No, it was only 2 nights. It was 2 days. It was 2 near-death experiences. It was just that I wasn't totally integrated, I should say, integrated with my body. Ironically, about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I got my yoga teacher certification, and I was watching a video on there, and this scientist, I forget her name, you might know her, she was a brain scientist, and she had a near-death experience, and she said going back into her body was like I dream of genie bottle. And I was like, oh my God, somebody can relate to my analogy. Yeah.
So anyway,
I saw that.
The question I had was about the 14 days, but I know you said 2 nights, but then you mentioned something else.
Yeah, I was one with everything. I was, I was constantly getting downloads. Like I could see so much I could just see what was going on in the world and see what my friends were doing. And I kept seeing these video clips of my future for 14 days.
And at what point did you know that you were healed?
Instantly.
Instantly. Wow.
Oh, it was instant. It was instant. And because they were talking to me and doing the healing, which is so hard for me to describe, that feeling of that electromagnetic field energy. The divine energy is just incredible. Incredible. They are amazing. And the love is just amazing. So yeah, I knew it instantly when Jesus was healing me and the things he was telling me. I knew it was going to happen because they only speak the truth. You know, so it was instant. There were other things that took a little longer, like the fatigue was not instant. It took just a little more time. You know, I'd had it for a long, over 10 years.
Well, your muscles were atrophied. You actually had
And
to,
my muscles were atrophied. Yes.
yeah, you had to
That's
create more
exactly,
strength in your body. Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. Yep.
Yeah.
My muscles were atrophied. Took a while to get that, but it came in increments. And then I was checking as soon as I would feel at a certain different at another level, I went and I was getting my cortisol checked and it was halfway up where it needed to be. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And then a few months later, I felt all of a sudden it just, I felt like an electrical current in my adrenal glands. Like they were like somebody had just plugged in a wire and they just turned on. It was like this coil that just zip, and they turned on, and I was normal again. I was normal. And I did all my blood work and it was normal. It's been an interesting ride.
I bet your doctor was surprised.
Yeah, very, because they said, and first of all, the Lyme disease, they're saying there's no cure. And then the adrenal disease, what the level of what I had, you would live on steroids for the rest of your life and painkillers and whatever, and I proved them wrong.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Can I
Thank you
add something?
so much, Lisamarie.
You're
That was
welcome.
absolutely
My pleasure.
wonderful. That was absolutely amazing. We really appreciate that and learned a lot in the process as well. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Let's go ahead and we're going to move forward now. So we had our Q&A, which was absolutely lovely. It's a great experience. Let's get this screen share correct. There we go. So what I'd like to do is lead us all on a visualization next so that we can fully experience this month's theme. And I think that you'll find that this is a wonderful, simple experience. And this is very much in alignment with this whole idea of being of service. So I'd like you all to move into a comfortable position with your feet on the floor. Close your eyes, sit back. And as you do, become aware of your breath. Bring your attention to your breath flowing in and out. And perhaps become aware of other sensations. Notice the depth of your breath, the rhythm of your breath. Feel your body simply relax. And when you're ready, allow yourself to take an even deeper breath and hold it for just a moment. And then experience a feeling of letting go on the exhale. That's right. Letting go of tension, letting go of responsibilities, letting go of concerns. And if you like, place a hand on your abdomen and bring your attention there. And on the in-breath, allow your abdomen to gently expand. And on the out-breath, allow your abdomen to gently contract. In, expand, out, contract. And then experience with each inhalation that you're breathing in comfort. And with each exhalation, you're releasing any tension. Inhale, relax and expand. And exhale, gently contract. And now bring your awareness to your heart as you breathe in and out. And if you like, you can place your hand on your heart. And just bring your awareness there. And from this place, gently and without effort, visualize, imagine, feel, experience a golden ray extending from the divine down to you. Allow this golden ray to flow down around you and through you. Allow this connection to the divine to comfort you, to ground you, to gently fill your heart, to allow it to expand and fill all of your body, fill that area all around your body with this beautiful, gentle, golden light of love. And as you move into this heart space and be at peace with the deep breath in and out, and now very simply, without effort, allow yourself to be in communication with your highest divine guide or your guardian angel, Jesus, the Buddha mind, Allah, God, the Holy Spirit, the universe, or whomever you connect with to hear that small, still voice of divine love. Visualize, feel, or imagine having a simple conversation with them. Greet them gently and allow them to respond to you. Notice how you feel in this moment. And now ask them a simple question and listen to their response. How may I be of service to others? How may I be of service to others? And repeat their answer in your mind. And notice how that feels. And express gratitude for their answer. And now ask them another simple question and listen again to their response. How may I be of better service to myself? How may I be of better service to myself? And notice how that feels. And repeat that answer in your mind. And finally, express gratitude for their answer. And bring your attention back to the awareness of that divine golden light that always surrounds you, is always available to you, heals you, loves you, and blesses you. And as you feel this divine presence, allow your awareness to come fully from your heart back up into the center of your head, and be aware of this present moment. Your feet on the floor, awareness of your surrounds, your breath moving in and out, being right here, right now. And whenever you're ready, take a deep breath and gently open your eyes. I wish you endless peace and heartfelt awareness of how you can be of better service both to others and yourself. So in just a moment, I would like to invite Reverend Catherine Cognan Caldwell back to the screen to have her share with us an original song she made that she was inspired by this call to service. And I'm very, very excited to hear her share her song with us. Reverend Catherine.
Thank you, Reverend Bud. This is called
Call
Anyway,
on Me, Lord.
Call on Me, Lord. Thanks. It's a new song. I actually just wrote it this afternoon. So, but it's been brewing, let's just say, with this, because I knew I was playing a song. But anyway, here goes. Dear Lord, where do you want me to serve you? Show me the path for my life. I want to be of use. Dear Lord, you called to me and I hear. Your spirit reaches deep into my heart, transforming, inspiring me. We are called each and every day, in everything we do and say, in our own unique way, to serve with love. Dear Lord, opportunities abound to help my brothers and my sisters in service to creation divine. Your servant hears your call. I am ready to serve you through all that is and all that comes. We are called each and every day, everything we do and say, in our own unique way, to serve with love. You are light, you are love incarnate. By many names you are known. Some are Allah, Yahweh, Shiva, God, Creator, Divine One. Please fill my heart with your light. Please fire my life with your love. Dear Lord, filled with your spirit, I can spread your love to all the world. Though I may doubt myself, I have a place to serve. Filled with your each and every day, in everything we do and say, in our own unique way, to serve with love. We are called each and every day, in everything we do and say, in our own unique way, to serve with love.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. That was absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, wow. It was a wonderful inspiration. We really appreciate that. So next up, we're going to have Reverend Natalia de Resendiz offer us the universal blessing from us to you and the world. Reverend Natalia.
Thank you, Reverend Bud. Our universal blessing. The divine bestows these blessings on us all: miraculous love and providence, comfort, hope, and healing, understanding hearts, resistance to temptation, freedom from egoism, equal vision, faith, devotion, and wisdom, spiritual progress and inner strength, virtuous hearts, compassion for the less fortunate, love for all. May these blessings of the divine rest upon us. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May we lift the veil and see the divine spark in all of them. Peace, shalom, shanti.
Thank you so much, Reverend Natalia. And now we're going to move into our experiential sharing segment, and we'd like to invite everyone to participate. So let's take a look at our question. So this is really about this whole idea of service, this whole idea of spiritual service. So we'd love to hear from anyone, and I'll stop screen sharing in just a moment. What has been your spiritual experience of service, or how have you been called to serve? Now, we heard, obviously, in great detail from Lisamarie, soon to be Reverend Lisamarie, on her experience of being called to serve. A beautiful and amazing experience. And so if you'd like to share, please go ahead and raise your hand, use the reactions button, or just wave. And we'll ask people to come forward and share their experience of spiritual service. And Reverend AJ is ready to go.
I'm trying not to pass out. Hey, everybody. I was thinking about that question, and I was thinking about, I think my experience with service started from birth, because my parents, I'm the oldest of 5, and my parents, like, we were the family that if you had a problem in your family and you couldn't stay in your house, they would come to my house, right? And my mom and dad would talk about it, and they would let them stay there and then they have to go. Or if somebody came over and they were hungry and we didn't eat a lot anyway, but we had our plates on the table. If it wasn't any left, my mother went around with a spoon and took a spoon off of everybody's plate to make another plate for the person. Mm-hmm. So I learned that like really early. And then what happened was I grew up. I had to live life like, oh my God, what's going on around here? But just going through life and going through a lot of things, because I identify with Reverend Lisamarie so much with the near-death experiences, but I mean, because I've had so many surgeries, so many this, so many, but the last one, as you all know, I think I've told you before, like, my heart was beating too fast, and it was too long. Like, your heart is only supposed to beat 60 to 100 beats a minute. So mine was like 143 for like 5 minutes or something like that. And then it was 184 for an hour. That never happens. Like, you just die after that. It never happens. So part of the service, it wasn't just my service to other people, it was service to me from God. Like, he was taking care of me. So I had a choice. They said, we can give you a shot that will stop your heart for 12 seconds and restart it, and hopefully, something happened. And I trusted God that much that I chose that. I chose stop my heart. And at one point I looked up and all of these doctors were around my bed and they were holding each other's hands. And I'm looking at them like, what are they doing? And they said, we got you, we got you. And then they helped me feel a little safe. And then they said, do you feel anything yet? Because they gave me the shot. I'm like, no. So what I felt, it was like similar to what Reverend Lisamarie was saying, but for me, it came out like the Matrix, right? You know that part of the Matrix where you're going like this, he's blocking bullets and doing all kind of stuff? Well, it was like people, places, and things in my life that didn't need to be there anymore was coming. And so when I was doing all this blocking thing, like, I thought about it after, God was removing stuff from me and healing me. Because I had already had my whole stomach removed. Like, I was like, well, what else are we gonna do? And then when I got to the middle of it, and I just had like this much trepidation. I don't want to say fear, because I wasn't really scared. And in that moment, and I will never forget, it was Rebbe who held my hand.
Yeah.
Rebbe who held my hand and said, come on. It's gonna be fine. Come on. And I'm looking at him, but because I trusted him when he was alive, I trusted him when he wasn't, and I was like, wow, he's still taking care of me and he's not even here after he promised me he would live to 125. But so my service to the service that I do for other people, because I used to get angry and say, God, are you doing all these different things to me just for me to show other people that, you're all powerful and you could fix everything? And I had to come out of that, but I had to go through everything I went through to see that, no, that's not it. It's like, if I'm giving you love freely, give it to other people freely. So that's what I started doing. And then it's like, like Reverend Lisa said, she was reading my text. It's like, no matter what happens to me, all it does is make me stronger and more determined. Like, really? Like, you trying to do what? Like, really? And I just have the ultimate faith in God, and I want to be who he's called me to be. And whatever that is, I receive it, and I'm gonna just do it. And I give it freely, because, like, why do I want to keep it myself? Because we have a saying in the recovery thing that says you can't keep it unless you give it away.
True.
So I give it away. I love God, and I give it away, and he gives it back.
Amen.
And I love all of you. How about that?
Thank you, Reverend AJ. That's lovely. Lovely. Thank you for your sharing.
That was great.
Who else would like to share?
I'd share.
Sure. Please go ahead, Reverend Catherine.
So I guess I'm going to give an example of I playing music years ago at this Jesuit retreat house that was closed down. But I was, at the time, I was going through this terrible divorce, and I was, so I wasn't physically broken, but I was emotionally broken, and even to the point where it was hard for me to stand. And actually, I did have some back issues at the time too, now that I remember this a little bit further. But I would go and I would play music, and the time when I had the back injury and other times when it was just feeling just so terribly, terribly broken inside, that, like I could barely stand up. As I would play the music, in addition to whatever the people who were listening got out of it, I was healed each time that I played. So by the time the prayer meeting was over, I felt healed. I felt whole. My back stopped bothering me. And not to say, well, that's not permanent, right? I mean, life happens. My situation continued. I ended up, in dark places in the future. But one of the things I wanted to add in my song is about how what we get out of, but I didn't have time, but what we get out of it when we serve, it's not just that we're giving to somebody else. We get healed and we get, I don't know what the right word is.
Get the blessing. We get the blessing.
Yeah,
we get a blessing every time.
Yeah, it's just, it's a beautiful thing, the giving and taking. So that's, one of my spiritual experiences of service is just that healing I got from it.
As we give, we receive.
Yes, absolutely.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Who else would like to share? We have time for one or two more. Yeah, Karine.
Okay, I am muted. Thank you. Thank you very much. I feel very blessed. I'm very honored to be here with all of you. So I'm the rookie now, and we'll start in September, and I'm very excited about it. And Kathleen has been mentoring me, wonderful for that, And service is one of the things that has motivated me to take the program with All Faiths. First of all, because I absolutely believe that God is only one, okay, everywhere. Whatever we interpret of him, it's our interpretation, but we are like him. It's not like that, he or she. I mean, we are like God, So it's like the first part of my life, being a Venezuelan American, living in Venezuela for many years. I always wanted to do more service, but I always understood that my service was to my family, like to my parents, to my brothers and sisters, because I lost my father very young when I was 20, and I have to take care of them, So that was my main service. But Venezuela didn't have the structure for me to do service in other areas, like I have done here, So when I discovered Unity, which has been one of my main spiritual houses here in Miami, Unity have a wonderful structure to do service, because they teach you and you can do a lot of things. So there I have served in many ways, but especially as a prayer emissary in the pastoral care and hospice area, So my dream is like work in that area, not only go and service, but work maybe with Vita, etc. I was telling Kathleen recently about that. So because I discovered that that's my call, So I have the opportunity as a prayer emissary during 8 years in Unity to do service at the Sylvester Cancer Center. Every week, I will go at least twice a week to pray with the patients in there, during they were taking their treatment, and I love to be able to pray with people in all ways, maybe in different languages for different religions, and I felt so blessed every time I left. I was so happy. My sister will tell me, "You're crazy. Nobody likes that." And I say, "No, absolutely happy to do that." Every time I felt like I was blessed by them. That God gave me the opportunity to do that, and so that's the service that I want to deepen in. through the seminary, and I hope to do so. And thank you so much for the opportunity to join.
Corinne.
I really feel blessed for that.
Thank you, Corinne. That's lovely. And yes, that is a beautiful reflection of how we are all blessed by service. And it is an
Yes.
amazing experience once we move out of that place of I have to, and you turn it into I get to and I want to.
Yes.
And it is a special calling to work in hospice or work in really challenging situations, because for a lot of people, there's a lot of concern, anxiety, and even fear of,
Yes.
of dealing in that space. Whereas what you can also do is reframe that and recognize it as a beautiful opportunity to create an amazing, amazing connection. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. Suzanne, soon to be Reverend Suzanne.
Yes, hi everyone. I did not have a particularly easy childhood. And so I've been a seeker for a really long time. Like, what is going on here? Why can't I heal? And so as a 10-year student of A Course in Miracles, I opened John Mundy's email one day and I thought, oh gosh, there's something calling me to do this program. So where am I being called to be of service? And it's really in investigating what gets in the way of forgiving, what gets in the way of our healing. And Bud has been down this road with me and continues to go lovingly with me to explore this idea through science. And there is a real misunderstanding. I just put together a fairly large presentation on quotes from the A Course in Miracles, on how to use the body. And most course students just think, well, it's not important. Well, we need to go beyond the body, and we need to use our equipment to do that. And our equipment is this. And so really understanding how we can use the body for healing, how we can use the body for joining, and physiologically what prevents us is just, I'm on fire with this. The melding of science and spirituality and psychology, to me, is remarkable. So how I'm going to reach people, how this is going to happen, I have no idea. I just know that every time I sit at my computer, whenever I take a shower, when I get up, I'm thinking about this constantly. So there's something here for me, for healing, and for those people, whatever religious path, whatever spiritual path, really understanding how to use the body, how to shift out of defense physiologically, learning to train the mind, which is not just what we think of as the thinking mind, but as the embodied mind, the nervous system, to me is my calling. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. That's lovely. Yes, you have a wealth of information that you've looked at and gone down that road, and it's absolutely amazing. All right, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and move us forward. And if those of you who want to share more about your service story, we'll have lots of opportunities that we will going forward, lots and lots of opportunities. So as we wrap it up, I'd like to just go over some high-level announcements. These are our interfaith themes for the year. As you can see, we're here in July in service. Ta-da! And next month, we've got a wonderful service coming up. And then Resonance and Harmony, Remembrance and Reflection, Inner Light, Joy and Peace. Lots of fun things coming up very, very soon. And in fact, next month, I do believe that we're going to have Reverend Gujan, who's been ill for quite a bit. He's going to be coming back and leading the Surrender and Serenity service. And we do offer our services on the third Thursday of every month. And we'd love to have you join us and participate as you've seen us do this evening. We're very informal, very low key, and it's really about feeling divine grace, feeling that experience of divine presence. That's our focus. Dr. John Mundy, who Suzanne mentioned, is doing an ongoing class right now called The Journey to Awakening, and it looks very, very interesting. And it runs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Every week it's the same on either Tuesday in the evening or Thursday in the afternoon, Eastern time. And he offers lots of different ways for you to participate. And you can contact him at john@miraclesmagazine.org. And I'm going to go ahead and drop into chat the various links for our announcement. So you can actually click on John's link there at miraclesmagazine.org. Imam Reverend ArifHuskic, along with the Common Word Alliance and the Ministry and Spirituality Centers for Humanity, every Friday, that's tomorrow at 3 Eastern, has a healing prayer. And they've offered this over 100 times so far. And it's a wonderful interfaith gathering focused on our collective healing. And the link is in chat for that. Of course, I would be remiss to not mention the fact that, as we previously mentioned, the New Light Temple is the ordaining body for All Faiths Seminary International. And AFSI offers brilliant interfaith programs that encourage you to go deeper into your own faith while exploring the beautiful mystical aspects of all the world's religions. New classes are starting actually next month. So you can start joining us in August, and then we start in September. And you can find out more about the seminary from our link in chat. And if you have any announcements of upcoming events, please send them to us. We would be happy to share. And also that link is in chat. Please consider supporting us. Everyone here is a volunteer. This is a nonprofit organization. The New Light Temple is nonprofit. And there are ongoing costs to have this program, for instance, paying for Zoom licenses and things like that. So we would appreciate anything that you might be able to do to support us in that process. And if you have any questions, you can send us an email, drop a link in chat, send me an email. We would be more than happy to chat with you and speak with you. And I want to say thank you so much, because we really appreciated our wonderful keynote speaker tonight, soon to be Reverend Lisamarie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also thank you for all of those who participated in our experiential segment. Lots of wonderful, lovely insights on service. And isn't it amazing that as we send out love, we get love back? And I hope that you got a message for you when we were doing our meditation on how you can be of service to others. And very importantly, be of service to yourself. You know, it's interesting because Reverend Natalia and I really enjoy that metaphor of flying on an airplane, where our lovely flight attendants all tell us, put your oxygen mask on first before you help the person acting like a child sitting next to you. So that's how we give ourselves that blessing. That's how we be of service to ourselves, so that we're more available for everyone else. And with that, we'll be closing. Thank you.